Hey, what do you know? I got it to work. I was a bit worried that I'd hit the wrong button there for a minute. G'day, Steve. G'day, Luke. Fishing. Welcome aboard, mate. I've got a number of photo sessions of that Hamley Bridge, or the bridge at Hamley Bridge over the Light River. G'day, come hither with Heather. G'day, Riel. Welcome aboard, sir. Yeah, I was a bit worried there for a minute. G'day, JK. Welcome aboard. Thanks for coming back again, mate. How you going? How's everybody going? Oh, look, here we go. Shivers. See, there we go. Let's fix that first. Now I've got to do that. Get rid of that, and do that, and just like that, it's all fixed. Welcome aboard to Good Chats. And if you're wondering what this is all about, this is my live stream that I do weekly alongside all of you friendly people out there in the squad, in the chat. I tend to learn an awful lot more from you guys than I do tend to give out. But anyway, I've got a whole bunch of stuff to go through this week. G'day, O'Malley. How you going? Welcome aboard. And thanks everybody for the feedback. As you will learn if you give it a go, live streaming's kind of complicated, isn't it, Heather? You know how it goes, and it tends to be rather raw and authentic. And so let's see how many subscribers I can lose on this live stream, hey? So welcome. Let us know what you've been up to. If you've been chasing anything interesting that you want to talk about, or if you've made any videos that you want to get people directed to as well, we can go and check them out, or I can direct people to them as well. I've seen O'Malley did one just recently on Lamaroo. That was a really cool drone flight, so go check out O'Malley Tours 34 around the grounds. Say good day if you're lurking as well to all the lurkers, since I've been doing these weekend live streams as well, which incidentally have a really high engagement rate. Mobile live stream video is by far and away the number one piece of content that the algorithms are looking for these days. It's looking like everything's working well on the live stream, so hopefully sound levels are okay and everything's working well. But yeah, let us know what you've been up to. I recently went up to Owen on the weekend. That was kind of cool, but it was a bit painful as well because I've got a bit of a problem with my foot at the moment. But that was interesting. Hobbling, I should say. We should go hobbling around towns with Mike. But that's just what happens when you get old. 50th birthday coming up next week. Lots of big plans for that weekend, which we'll talk about next week. So Owen's a cute little town. I actually know a bloke who lives in Owen. Shout outs to John if you're out there. He encouraged me to go out there and have a look around and dig a little deeper, as I do. And it turns out that he's shared that with the community, and they're coming out with all sorts of stories and things to talk about as well. So maybe there's opportunities to go dig even a little bit deeper there and go into the history of that town, which is something I want to branch into and do a bit more of when I'm doing my railway history videos. So here we are. I've been talking for 5 minutes now, thereabouts, and I've managed to put the microphone on this time. We're going to go to a Hamley Bridge flight while I was on my way back from Owen. I stopped through Hamley Bridge and I did that flight over the bridge at Hamley Bridge. So I turned that into a little sort of, stream exclusive video, as I tend to do. JK sent me some images that he took around the old Barasa Valley Truro Line, where the Truro Line branched off from the Angaston Line. I can't remember the name of the place. Maybe there is a station board there, and JK will be able to tell us. And some more of JK's adventure up to Sleeps Hill as well, which will improve our understanding a bit more of the lay of the land around there. In the public pool. It's a nice little town, and they love their pool as well. So people should do that and visit country towns a little bit more and get out of the way. G'day Pete Donaldson. Welcome aboard, mate. Thanks for coming, sir. And I did get a Flickr page which gave me more images on Sleeps Hill as well, but then JK swooped in with the scoop, and so we'll check out those later on. Thanks for sending them in. And then we'll go to Book of the Week, and we'll go from there. So anyway, I think I've got this all teed up correctly, so let's do that video. Yeah, there's a few cool places up there. Up around, there's Red Banks as well. I've always been meaning to check that out. I'm always driving past it, and maybe one of these days, this winter, I'll be driving past it again, and I'll stop off and check it out. I hear it's a popular camping site. Looking at that now, I might have oversaturated the colours a little bit. Yeah, they certainly built things to last, that's for sure. But this bridge really stands out. It's a good opportunity to do a drone flight because there's no houses nearby as well, no people to bother. The bridge over the Gilbert River is interesting too, because I think the story goes that it actually caught fire during the Pinnery bushfires. And you don't have to look closely to see as well that there's the remains of an old bridge there as well, the first bridge that would have been there, and that's what happens to the supports and the faces of the old bridges. But if you've been following my channel for a while as well, you'll realise that these kind of South Australian country scenes are the ones that I love the most. They're just really quiet and really interesting exposition, I guess, of large-scale engineering across a fairly tranquil and agricultural landscape. I just really like the juxtaposition. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Good morning, Rita's Roost. That is Hamley Bridge in South Australia, where I am at the moment, and where most of us are. Although Luke is up in Darwin, up north, and most of us here are from around SA. So yeah, and we kind of do these videos, and we kind of talk about history, and it's mainly focused around railways because that's kind of what my channel does. And things are going really well with the channel at the moment. I just hit 1,500 subscribers, and it seems like it's going to stay that way and keep going up. So I really want to thank everybody, all the regulars, particularly I know the regulars are on the chat, and it's all of your comments and all of your likes that really are the core to driving why the channel gets seen by a wider audience. And so that builds up over time, and this project has always been about building up over time. There's an old saying about overnight sensations. They miss out the two words that go before that, the 10-year overnight sensation. And so, hey, we're just working away here in good old Radelaide. This is great. Welcome to Southern USA. This is the other thing that you old YouTubers say as well is, Australia is only a very limited audience. And I love watching videos from the USA. It's such a different perspective to what we have here in Australia. And hopefully one day, people will from the United States will want to learn a little bit more about us down here in little old South Australia. Thanks, Rita. I just gave you a thumbs up too. Cheers. So we're going to go to the slideshow now. We're just going to kind of talk through that one. Maybe JK, if you're on board as well, chime in anytime. So I'm going to start with, this is in the Barasa Valley now. We are in the Barasa Valley. I have to go to here to find the controls. And this is the old stone line that ran from Penrice Quarries at the top of the Barasa Valley, and it ran down through the Barasa Valley. Now I've got to find that button that makes things go. And this would be up near the top. I did a drone video on the Barasa Valley Railways, which included a lot of these sections as well, a couple of years ago now. That sounds really weird to say. And we'll just keep flicking through those. Beautiful country up there. You can see the vineyards either side. Now, I can't remember what the name of this crossing is called, but it has a name, if anyone can remember it, because off to the left of the line there, or actually this crossing was actually 2 tracks, I think at one point, and this is where the line headed up, and north of the Barasa Valley up to Truro. And some of the old infrastructure around there. For what it's worth, the Barasa Valley railway line was a fairly unremarkable railway line. It just travelled through the Barasa Valley, which is remarkable country. But the railway line itself had no engineering of any particular note. There's virtually no trace of the old Truro line now up through the gums there. You can see all the trees growing, which wouldn't have been there when the railways were there. And that would be heading out to Truro as well, and another shot of that intersection. Oh, hang on. I'm trying to see what's going on there. I don't know. Oh, well, now we're at Sleeps Hill. That's right. That's what threw me. So JK sent me that selection of pictures up there of where the old Truro line branched off the Penrice Quarry line branched off from the old Truro line. The Barasa Valley is beautiful. Yeah. So now we're up again, up the back of, well, not up the back of the Adelaide Hills, we're smack bang in the middle of the Adelaide Hills face here. The line did terminate at Truro, and there was very few copyright-free images of the old Truro line and railway station available to me digitally, although now that I have this link with the National Railway Museum, which hopefully will continue, then I'll get access to more images. That's a fair point. Yeah, look at that. That's thanks, JK. That's kind of what we do here. Hey, we like pick these interesting things out of common experiences. So yeah, if you go back to the Sleeps Hill line, I looked at these pictures that you sent me, JK, and I was looking at the graffiti. So I was just wondering how much change there had been to the graffiti, and there actually hasn't been that much new graffiti up there. When did you take these videos? I forgot. I don't know whether you gave me a date, but let us know when you took these. That'd be good. G'day, Andy Munro. Welcome aboard. I didn't find anything interesting at Truro. It's at the end of my Barasa Valley Railways vid. There's the last section. It ends on some of the final scenes around Truro, and there is a cutting there as it's just as you come into Truro, but it's so overgrown that you wouldn't know. And there's a couple of concrete ledges that might have been where goods sidings or ash pits or something would have been, but that's about it. Yeah, and JK, you would know the same. There's not a lot up there. So this was taken in 2023, so about a year. We'll call it around about a year ago. Difference is JK walked a bit further and he went over to the mainline tunnels, the modern day Sleeps Hill Tunnel, which interestingly enough has its fair share of graffiti as well. This would have been the trail that I didn't take. And now JK has gone over to the other side, of the gorge there, from coming up from Shepherd's Hill, and taken some photos from over the other side, which provides a cool perspective. You can see the entrance to the old tunnel across there at the top of those shots. Heather, what we're looking at is the old version of the railway, and where those railway lines led into the tunnel. That's the modern day line up to Belair. So we keep scrolling through, and there was once these, massive viaducts that went from that little old tunnel over to the cutting that you can see here, where the train went, like 100 feet. What's that? We're talking about 40, 50 meters above the ground on this quite dilapidated looking structure, to be honest with you. And that's why it went, because engines and carriages were getting heavier and heavier. So there's a couple of more shots over to there, and now he's right over the other side, I reckon. Oh, not quite, nope. And now we've come back. Oh, now we're on the middle of the support in between the two sections of viaduct. And I think we've made it to the other side now. And we're looking into the cutting, and he's walked through the cutting too. What a legend. To the main line as it exists today, and that's where you see your suburban trains to Belair, or your freight trains and all that kind of stuff. I remember this view too. I've seen that view once before when I was travelling on the overland, and if you want to go to all that trouble, you can go for a ride on the train up to Belair and you can see that line side. Looks like you had beautiful weather for it up there for the day you went. There you go, there's one of those trains. 30 k's from Truro to Udunda. It'd be interesting. It's a fair point, and I'd be quite sure that more than one proposal and more than one survey was probably done. There's one black and white. Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. And I always wanted to spend more time trying to match up the old black and white shots with existing shots, but I always get out there and I come close. And just lately, I haven't really had too much chance to delve right into the historic shots as much as I would like to. There's so many reasons why railways went where they went. That's I love kind of unpicking the political, industrial, agricultural stories. Later on, I'm doing the Pitchy Ritchie Railway, and I'll show you in a minute the work I've started doing on the map, but I want to try and tell the story of why the East-West Railway across Australia ended up going through the Pitchy Ritchie Pass for some time. It seems to us now quite normal and natural that the railway just cuts straight up to Port Augusta and cuts out Port Pirie and goes up the flat bit, up the coast, because that's the quickest way there. So it begs the question, why didn't they just do that in the first place? And so the story of the way South Australian railways were built isn't like the other states, where the other states mainly built their railways to serve hubs and go to the cities. South Australia built their railways basically from inland to the ports, and the primary purpose of railways was to go inland to get produce to the ports. So, there was a succession of, small railways and succession of different railways built, rather than the sort of standardized network that we have now. Ooh, my computer's running out of batteries. Why didn't I not plug it in? There we go. All right. And the very last image. There you go. So thanks for sending those through, JK. Keep sending through your images, and everybody, please send through more images as well. That'd be really cool. So we go to Book of the Week now, and unsurprisingly for some, I'm still delving into the history of football. So slowed down a little bit in my book reading this week. So this one's a little bit more in the East Murray district, right? So the last week's book was the compendium digest of all of the clubs in South Australia. This one focuses a bit more on the East Murray district and around Karoonda and all that, and it does talk about a lot the line associations. So the phenomenon of football associations becoming known as line associations, because they were essentially made up of teams which came from the settlements dotted along a particular railway line. And you're right, Andy, because I sometimes call it Mallee. It's hard, call my video rails through the Mallee to the Murray or something like that. So yeah, the East Murray lands is an interesting one. I do tend to kind of fall on the side of calling it the Mallee, though. Maybe the East Murray landers would prefer to be called, linked to the Murray lands. I don't know, but let me find one of the stories. All right, here we go. So here we go. On July 15th, Sandalwood played host to Halidon. Halidon player Dave Westover suffered a very serious injury. The game was only 4 minutes old when Westover turned quickly when chasing the ball and broke his leg. First aid was skillfully administered by Mrs. Halliday, Mrs. Atkinson, and Bruce Seymour. What a detailed story to come out of 1922. Westover had to spend considerable time on the platform at Sandalwood Station awaiting the goods train to arrive to convey him to Murray Bridge, where he was attended to by Dr. Steele. Because Dave had not returned home, his dog had gone to look for him. His dog eventually found him waiting on the platform and sat with him until the train arrived. Dave Westover was a popular Halidon resident, and great sympathy was expressed towards him, as he was only a last-minute inclusion when another player withdrew. So that was a pretty bad day for Dave. Yeah. we should break that hoodoo apart, guys, and we'll have a three-way discussion one day on whether we call it the East Murray lands, or the Murray Mallee, or the Mallee, or just the Mallee. Sometimes I tend to just divert to the Mallee, or whether we call it the South Riverland or something. I don't know. So this book, probably about a third of the way there. Now, Andy, I wanted to ask you this question last week too. I don't know what I'm going to do with all these little snippets. Now I've picked them all out, and I'm probably going to write them all down in a Word document or something and just kind of keep them up my sleeve there for some time in the future video. I don't know what, or even in some ways why I'm doing it, but maybe it'll come in handy in future. Maybe I could put it to historic images of old football teams. Perhaps if there was a way I could get access to archives of the football teams and the club photos or whatever, and sort of narrate a video about how important the railways were to the development of all these football leagues around the state, and just mix that in with some trains and stuff and just kind of tell a story. Love to hear your suggestions on that one. So as always, on that note too, I want to thank everybody for your help with the questions that I ask sometimes, like that one, which was a really long question, but I asked whether or not you pronounced the siding called Saltire or Saltire in the Pitchy Ritchie Pass, and JK found out from somebody who knows that it's actually pronounced Saltire. So there you go. I managed to avoid going through an entire video pronouncing the name of a particular place wrong. Yeah, cool. Well, obviously Peter Lyons is still around and open to research requests, so maybe I will find a way to reach out to him and just see whether or not there's opportunity to work with what I've got there. So I'm just kind of getting the raw data and just going from there. So at that stage, guys, I managed to get it up to nearly half an hour tonight. Not every night's a super long night. There's some nights are super long nights too. It just really depends how it's going, man. And winter nights, hopefully everybody's coping with the seasonal depression disorder, the lack of light that's going on at the moment, very dark mornings and afternoons, and then you've got the overcast weather as well. But at least we're finally getting some rain, which is pretty good. So now we go change this thing to, that's what was supposed to be up before. Yeah, you're not getting seasonal depression disorder, are you? Like up there in Darwin, it's just 32 degrees all the time. I don't know how you go with daylight savings though. I can't think of how that works right off the top of my head, about whether or not the solstice is an issue that affects the equator too much, because we've just gone through the shortest day of the year, so things will only, that kind of comes upon you quickly at the end of summer, the shortest day of the year. So hopefully we start to get a bit more light at the beginning and the end of every day. You saw a TV show of that railway line the other day. Which one, Andy? Which railway line were you looking at? I'd love to find out more about this TV show as well, and see if I can track it down. So, thanks to everybody who came on board. Thanks to the replayers as well. I do get quite a few replays these days, and questions answered and questions asked. So to the replayers as well, if you've got any questions, then fire them into the comments and I'll answer them next week. If anyone's got anything they want to add, like videos or photos or whatever, send them to me on Facebook or on my email, which you can find in the details thingy on my YouTube channel page. Oh, Pitchy Ritchie, yeah, cool, yeah. I am hopefully going to bring it into the 21st century. So we'll just see how we go. It's kind of a big project. Oh, that's right. I was going to quickly show you what's going on with After Effects. I'll do a screen cap. And then I'll fire up After Effects. I saw that message, O'Malley. No, I'll just get my vapes under the counter, mate. Like, honestly, that's just all that everyone's going to do. Yeah. No, that's cool. A lot of my stuff's filmed on the Pocket 2, which is not much more than a glorified bloody iPhone, except doesn't do the phone bit. So now we're looking at the composition that I've created so far in After Effects, right? And so I've got the base map of the area of the Northern Flinders and the Northern Spencer Gulf, and I've started to bring in my locations. I realised only after sort of laying out a few of these lines that I kind of probably should pinpoint the towns first and get the titles out of the way. So and this is the raw basis of just starting one of these map animations where I'll tell the story of how all the railway lines were built, and I will put a timeline in there, and it will change colours and do all that stuff to show the how the change of gauge affected everything over time as well, because that really did change gauges as well. So what do we do with that line? There we go. And so this is how I draw those lines as well. So you essentially work with keyframes in After Effects like you do with everything else. So I just bring that line in and then I keyframe it a little bit differently out there, and then you see that the titles come up, and then you can see this row A line slowly build itself, and that's how I create that. So it's kind of painstaking work, right? Because there's about 13 lines that I want to do there. So yeah, that's, if I just bring that up, that's the project so far in there. That's and then I'm going to have to add the location names as well. And so all of these paths have been drawn in Google Earth, so they're basically GPS correct, right down to every turn. At this point in time, I've only just dropped these in. I haven't properly scaled them, because generally when you do drop them into After Effects, you've got to do a bit of messing with the paths to get everything to line up correctly. But you know, I want these to be as accurate as possible. Yeah, maybe I should do an After Effects tips video one of these days. If anybody is out there actually trying to use After Effects for specific things, I've got lots of suggestions. Okay, so Steve, thanks for coming on board. Luke's Fishing, thanks for coming on board. Come hither with Heather, hello, thank you again. Re-L, thank you, bro, for coming on board. JK, as always, great to have you. O'Malley Tours 34 around the grounds. Pete Donaldson's probably gone to bed already. Wouldn't surprise me. Reader's Roost is probably off living daytime life in southern USA by now, but thanks for coming on board. And Andy Munro, as always, great to have you on board, champion. Really want to do some kind of collaboration with you one day too, bro. That'd be great. If I was a pro, I'd be getting paid for it. But it's really kind of painstaking work, and given that I'm probably still 6 weeks to releasing the video, I'm just taking my time with that one. It's just something I like to have out of the way, and also building these maps and doing these timelines. You should see the Word document. Helps me formulate better plans for when I'm actually out there and on site. So yeah, okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Really appreciate it. This has been good chats. We do this every week at 8:15 p.m. whether I like it or not, or whether you like it or not, which is going to be here every week, as long as YouTube will allow it. So thanks for coming on board. Till next week. Peace.